Hey family, welcome back. This video is based on public info, local reports, and the facts I could dig up. I've tried to connect the dots the best I could, because the deeper I looked, the more one thing kept coming up: the land. There are theories out there, some wild, some quiet, but they all lead back to the same place. Not money, not jealousy, just land. Let's talk about it. It starts like this: just another Irish farm. Quiet roads, fenced pastures. A man named Michael Gaine living on land that had been in his family since the mid 90s. You'd drive past it and never think twice. But maybe that was the first mistake, thinking it was just a farm. Because this wasn't some random stretch of cow fields. This was over 1,000 acres in one of the most scenic parts of County Kerry, a place with no mortgage, no bank lien, no partnership contracts, just one man, one name on the deed. And that kind of land, it's not just real estate. In Ireland, especially rural Ireland, it can be everything: identity, history, control, and maybe, just maybe, a reason to kill. Michael Gaine wasn't just working the land, he owned every inch of it. That's rare these days. No mortgage payments, no rent, no silent investors in the background. The deed was his, full stop. And that matters. Because when someone controls land with no one to answer to, decisions are private, quiet, behind the gate and the farmhouse door. If someone made him an offer to lease a field, to partner on a development idea, to get a foothold on that prime Kerry soil, he didn't have to consult anyone. He could just say no. No paper trail, no public objection, no evidence of refusal. And maybe, just maybe, that kind of control made someone feel like they were locked out for good. Here's what most people miss when they picture Michael's farm: it wasn't just farmland, it was a potential gold mine. The property sat along a stretch of Kerry that tourists drive every single summer, right between Mole's Gap and the Rally of the Lakes route. That's not random, that's high footfall, high visibility land. Now think bigger. Imagine someone looking at those 1,000 acres and seeing more than grass, seeing glamping pods, scenic Airbnb cottages, farm to table retreats, maybe even a motorsport tie in for rally fans. All it would take is the right idea, the right investment, and Michael's permission. But Michael, he wasn't that type. He didn't convert the land. He didn't lease it. He didn't bend. And if someone had pitched him that dream and he shut it down, that no might have been quiet. But for the person on the other side of it, it could have sounded like a slammed door. Here's where things start to get strange. Somewhere deep in the online chatter, TikTok comments, local Facebook groups, there's a whisper. A claim that someone tried to file for planning permission on Michael's land about 8 years ago. Now, let's be clear, there's no public record of that application, nothing official, but the rumor keeps surfacing. And in stories like this, whispers often come from somewhere. So, what if it's true? What if someone had a vision? Maybe a few holiday homes, a tourist path, or even something commercial. What if they brought it to Michael and he turned it down? No press, no council battle, just one man saying, "Not on my land." And maybe that was the end of it, or maybe it wasn't. Maybe that rejection lingered quietly. Maybe the person who heard it never forgot. Here's what hits the hardest: there's no trace, no council documents, no official letters, no rejected applications tied to Michael's name. But maybe that's exactly the point. Not all refusals come with paperwork, especially not in rural Ireland. Sometimes the only rejection is a quiet conversation, a hand waved, a door not opened. And those kinds of no's, the personal ones, the ones behind closed gates, can sting the most. They don't make the news, they don't go on record, but they can build over time: bitterness, frustration, the feeling that one man is standing in the way of someone else's future. And when nothing is written down, there's nothing to investigate, no trail to follow. Only silence. Michael never put up a sign, never listed the land, never hinted that he was thinking about selling. But that doesn't mean no one asked. In rural Ireland, a handshake still means something. A quiet chat in a pub, a neighbor dropping by with a casual proposal, those things happen. And sometimes someone might say, if you're ever thinking of parting with a few acres. But Michael wasn't parting with anything. Not the fields, not the barns, not the gravel road that cut through the middle of the property. He held onto it all, protected it. And that's where it gets interesting, because in cases like this, it's not always the person holding the land who causes the tension. It's the person waiting for them to let go. And when the answer is always no, some people stop asking. This is where the whole thing starts to feel wrong. Michael was last seen in town, topping up phone credit calm, ordinary routine. Then he drove home. After that, nothing. No distress call. No sightings. Just silence. His car was later found on the farm. Keys inside. Phone inside. Wallet untouched, like he'd only stepped out for a moment. But nobody saw anything. No barking dogs, no neighbors reporting strange movement, no struggle. It's as if he vanished into thin air on his own land. That's not how most murders go, unless the person who did it knew the land, knew the layout, knew how to avoid every sound, every camera, every question. Someone who didn't need to break in, someone who belonged. The cards haven't said this was about land. There's been no formal statement, no charges linked to a property dispute. On paper, this is a murder investigation, plain and simple. But the silence speaks louder than any report. Michael Gaine owned over 1,000 acres, no mortgage, no co-owner, no plans to sell. If someone wanted that land, even just a part of it, they needed his yes. And if he said no, that door stayed shut. Now he's gone, and the land remains. You can't point to a document and say, there, that's why he died. But in Ireland, land is never just land. It's history, it's legacy, it's something people hold onto like blood. And when someone feels locked out of that, sometimes they don't just walk away. Janice Gaine now owns everything. That's the law. When a man dies without a will and has no children, his spouse inherits the full estate. No questions asked. The house, the fields, the barns, it all falls to her. And here's where it gets complicated. Because the land is still there, untouched, valuable, scenic, wide open for someone to approach, not with violence, but with opportunity, a fresh conversation, a new offer. And this time, the man who always said no isn't around to answer. If this was ever about money, about access, about getting a piece of that land, then maybe the motive was never rage, maybe it was patience. And now that the land has changed hands quietly, legally, maybe someone out there thinks their time has finally come. If this case was ever about the land, then someone out there knows more than they've said. Maybe it was just a quiet farm. Maybe it was something much more. Let me know what you think in the comments. Was this really about a personal feud? Or did the land itself hold the key? And if you're following the case like I am, hit that subscribe button, because this isn't the last time someone will disappear without noise. And we'll be here putting the puzzle together piece by piece.